10-year-old Rock Island boy found dead in trash can. For several days, a mother kept a terrible secret hidden in her home. No one knew her 10-year-old son was gone until a disturbing tip led police to the tragic truth. This is the story of Sushi Staples and the discovery that shocked a town. Love real police cam footage and chilling crime breakdowns? Subscribe to Eerie Evidence, where every frame tells a story the headlines missed. Don't just watch the drama, uncover the truth. On a summer day, July 25, 2023, in the town of Rock Island, Illinois, police received a very disturbing phone call. The caller reported something truly awful. They claimed a 10-year-old boy had accidentally shot himself, and worse, that his mother was hiding his body inside their home. This kind of call is serious, so police officers immediately went to the address given to investigate. When they arrived, a woman named Sushi Staples answered the door. The officers explained the reason for their visit, telling her about the strange and upsetting call they had received. They asked her if she knew someone named Latricia, possibly the caller, but Ms. Staples said no, she didn't know anyone by that name in the area.
Do you know Latricia?
No.
No?
I don't know anybody out here.
The officers then carefully explained the details of the call, that someone had contacted the Department of Children and Family Services, DCFS, claiming she had a child who had accidentally shot himself. Ms. Staples seemed shocked and strongly denied the story.
Absolutely not.
She immediately suggested who might be behind such a terrible false report. Her ex-husband's new girlfriend, a woman named Tony. Ms. Staples described Tony as being off the chain, explaining that she had been experiencing constant harassment from her.
His new girlfriend, this broad, is off the chain.
She explains that Tony used several fake Facebook profiles and different phone numbers to stalk and contact her. Even after Ms. Staples changed her own number to escape the harassment, Tony continued to find ways to reach her.
Made up different names, called me from different numbers. I have changed my number, tried to do everything I can.
Right.
The police listened to her explanation about the ongoing harassment. Ms. Staples emphasized her normal life. She worked as a patient care tech at Genesis Hospital, was a student at a local community college, and owned a business in nearby Davenport. She repeated that Tony had harassed her at her job and business, and had even made threats against her online, posting pictures of a gun.
This girl has made threats towards me on Facebook, posting her gun up, saying that she's gonna come to my addy.
Police then directly confronted her, asking if it was true that her son had shot himself and was now hidden somewhere in the basement. Staples again denied it strongly. "Come now," she said, gesturing around her home, implying it was an absurd idea. The officers, needing to follow procedure even with strange calls, asked if they could just take a quick look in the basement to confirm nothing was wrong. Ms. Staples refused this request. She stated firmly that they would need a search warrant to enter her basement.
Look where I live.
No, I get it. Just so I can check the box off, can I look in your basement real quick and I'll get out of
No,
here?
you need a search warrant to do that.
She explained that she wasn't going to allow her rights to be violated based on what she believed were completely baseless and malicious lies spread by someone trying to harm her. She reiterated that she had 4 children and they were all girls. She even offered to let the police see her daughters to prove she didn't have a son. The officers admitted the call sounded unusual, but said it's their job to check out every report, no matter how odd it might be.
I know. Like I said, it sounded crazy to me too. I'm just up here, we have to investigate it. No matter how crazy it sounds.
If you want to do that.
Ms. Staples continued to express her frustration with the situation caused by her ex-husband and his girlfriend, calling it a never-ending story. She pointed out that she had lived there for 6 years, had good relationships with her neighbors, and surely, if something as loud and tragic as a gunshot had occurred, someone in the neighborhood would have heard it and reported it. The police tended to agree that it seemed unlikely something like that could happen without neighbors noticing.
Don't you think if my neighbors would have heard something like that, they would have made a call or said something to somebody?
I would believe so, yeah.
Before leaving, Ms. Staples showed the officers some emails she said were from Tony to prove the harassment was still happening. The officers asked Ms. Staples for Tony's phone number, but she said she didn't know it. The officers took notes about the situation, including the harassment claims, hoping to prevent further unnecessary visits if more false reports came in. They apologized for bothering her and left the residence.
All right, sorry to bug you. I just, like I said, we gotta call, even if it sounds crazy, we gotta come see what's going on.
The initial disturbing report seemingly contradicted by Ms. Staples' explanations and denials. However, the seriousness of the initial report couldn't be completely dismissed based solely on the first conversation. Police needed absolute certainty, especially when a child's life was potentially involved. Therefore, the investigation continued. The very next day, July 26th, the Rock Island police returned to Sushi Staples' home. This time, they weren't just there to talk. They arrived with a search warrant. This legal document, approved by a judge, gave them the authority to search the entire property, the house, the garage, everything, to find any evidence related to the report, including the body of the 10-year-old boy.
Okay, I understand that, but we have a search warrant for the house.
We're asking for your cooperation to be up front with us.
Officers asked her to step outside while they explained the warrant. There was a tense moment as she asked to see the warrant before allowing them further into her home. The police assured her they had a valid warrant for the whole house, and eventually entered. They tried to reassure her they wouldn't unnecessarily damage her property, but needed her cooperation.
Can I see the warrant, please? And I can call my lawyer.
Inside, they asked her to hand over her phone as part of the investigation. After that, the officers thoroughly searched the entire house.
I need your phone too.
My phone? That's not my phone.
Well, that's phone taking.
Hold on to that.
The officers sat down with Miss Staples again and told her they were taking the report about her late son, Zion, being in the house very seriously. She again denied having a son named Zion. The police pressed further, asking if she had ever claimed government benefits for a child with that name. Miss Staples denied receiving any benefits.
Are you claiming benefits for a kid named Zion?
No.
Bringing up again her claim that her identity had been stolen, leading to false tax filings and other issues she was trying to resolve with the authorities, like the FBI and IRS. This was another red flag that the officers noticed.
I just recently went through a situation where a young lady stole my identity, and I've been working with the FBI.
Now, police brought up a specific piece of information from official records: a DCFS visit to her previous residence in Chicago back in 2021. According to the report from that visit, a boy named Zion Staples was present in the home at that time, along with her 4 daughters and another young boy.
DCFS came out to your residence in Chicago, and there was a Zion Staples there.
Ms. Staples tried to explain this away, saying there were often neighborhood kids visiting her home and that the children mentioned might not have been hers. She specifically denied that any child visiting was named Zion or was her son.
So you're saying there was a kid in your apartment that was not your kid named Zion?
I didn't say his name was Zion, no.
The officers found records showing a child named Zion Staples was linked to her, likely through benefits, but they couldn't find him in person. They needed to confirm his safety, but where was he?
Somewhere here, we've got to clear this up with this Zion Staples.
They explained that their main concern was the child's well-being. As the conversation continued,
the biggest concern that we have here is that we need to make sure that this kid is safe.
The police search of the house was also proceeding. During this search, officers made a critical discovery. They found official documentation inside the house, a birth certificate for a child named Zion Staples, listing Sushi Staples as the mother. Now the proof was clear. The officer said firmly, "Stop lying, Ms. Staples. We need the truth now."
It's found in your room.
We need to get this figured out. Stop
lying.
They asked her directly, "Where is that kid?" When the officers showed her the birth certificate they found in her own home, Ms. Staples' story fell apart completely.
You need to come clean, because we're not going anywhere. You're just gonna dig yourself a bigger grave now.
She admitted that Zion was not a real living person in the way she had implied. She confessed that she had needed extra help financially and had arranged for someone to create false documents, including the birth certificate for a non-existent child, likely to claim benefits. After admitting to the fraud involving Zion Staples' identity, the police informed Ms. Staples that she was under arrest. She was upset, asking what she had done wrong. The officers explained that she had just admitted to fraud, and the primary goal remained figuring out the truth about the child, Zion.
Go and turn around for me.
Oh, no. I'm going to jail. What have I done?
You just admitted to fraud.
She worried about being embarrassed in front of her neighbors and asked the officers not to handcuff her in public. The officers escorted her to the police car. Following Sushi Staples' arrest and removal from the home,
This is embarrassing.
the police conducted a thorough search of the entire property, as permitted by the warrant. Tragically, the search led to a grim discovery in the family's garage. Hidden inside a garbage can, police found the body of Miss Staples' 10-year-old son, Zion. Investigators later determined that the young boy had likely died many months earlier, around December 2022. The believed cause of death was a tragic accident, an accidental, self-inflicted gunshot wound that occurred while Zion was playing with a gun he had found. Sushi Staples was subsequently charged with several serious crimes: concealment of a death, obstruction of justice, failure to report the death of a child, and endangering the life or health of a child. The case moved through the legal system. On February 16, 2024, a resolution was reached. Ms. Staples entered into a plea agreement with the prosecutors. She agreed to plead guilty to one charge, endangering the life of a child. In exchange for this guilty plea, the prosecution agreed to drop the other, more severe charges against her. After she pleaded guilty, the judge sentenced Sushi Staples to 2 years in prison. The sad and troubling case ended with a mother serving time for hiding the accidental death of her young son for more than 6 months. If you found this story impactful, please like the video and subscribe to our channel for more updates. Your support means a lot to us. Thanks.